Welcome to university. You've made it and things are going to be very different from here on in. My name's Andy Wicks. Let's get going. University is not like school. It's very different. There you had to learn facts and complete tasks. What is 52 take away 27? Draw an eagle. But at university, you have to demonstrate understanding. Why does 52 take away 27 give 25? How can your drawing of an eagle be improved? This matters a lot because showing you understand means that you can then use these skills in totally different situations. You only get marks for understanding at university, not for completing tasks. First, a few obvious things. Attend everything on time, every time, because the beginning is where all the context is given. This gives you the overview into which you can fit all those facts. Read the coursework carefully, especially what's required. You wouldn't believe how often we get wonderful pieces of work that don't actually attract any marks because that's not what was asked for. And also don't forget that you've not only got to do the task, you've got to explain what you did and why, because that's where the marks are. Start the coursework immediately you get it. You can create an outline straight away. Make sure that you have a proper title page with your name and enrollment number and the title of the coursework. Make sure that you have an index, table of contents. Make sure that that table of contents has all the bits from the marking criteria that you're going to be assessed on. That way you know that if you've missed something, well, that section will be blank. So now you know you need to fill it in. Then, once you've got that outline, you can start throwing stuff in. It doesn't have to be in good English. It doesn't even have to be in English. Just throw stuff in as you go along. Then at the end, it's just an editing job. A case of, well, that doesn't sound right. Let me move this here and change that there. That way you can complete your coursework far faster and with more grades than you would if you left it until the end. Let me explain about the sweet shop principle. If you pay for something, then use it all. I'd like you to imagine that you walk into a shop and ask for chocolate. The shopkeeper says, "That'll be £1, please." You hand over your money, and the shopkeeper just walks off, without giving you the chocolate. You'd be upset. Yet you're happy to walk out of a class without having understood. You feel it's your fault. Well, we're paid a lot of money to make things clear. If you don't understand, then it's our fault and not yours. However, if the shopkeeper gives you the chocolate and you eat half of it and then throw the rest in the bin, well, that's not the fault of the shopkeeper. If you turn up late or skip those exercises, then it's not our fault. Use everything that you're given. Do work your way. Coursework is intentionally vague at university about exactly what you need to produce. All you have to do is cover what is in the marking scheme. You can make a reasonable assumption if you want, anything you like. This means that you have a lot of leeway in how you meet the marking criteria. You do not have to work the way we showed you, unless that's in the marking scheme. Nor do you have to do the coursework in any particular order. What you do have to do is justify why you used that particular method. Saying I did it this way because that's the way it was in the lecture doesn't show any understanding. Are there other ways of doing this? If so, what are they? And why did you choose the one you did? Lecturers are always right. No. Supposing I told you that I thought you were born on Mars, would you believe me? Well, I hope not. Yet you believe me when I tell you that this is a fact. There are always other points of view, other ways of working. This is difficult to get your head around because teachers have always told you to follow their way of doing things. These shackles are off at university, and you're free to work your way. An opinion is just that. An opinion carries no weight. At university, your opinion, or mine, is not enough. Who backs you up? Which theories back you up? You need to argue your case, for example with citations, to show that you understand. Metacognition is a technical educational term, and what it means is understanding how you learn best. I've been teaching for a very long time, therefore I must know how to make others learn. No, I know how I learn best, but I'm not you. Knowing what works best for you in each situation is called being metacognitive. The better you know what works for you, the quicker you will understand a subject and the less time you'll spend studying. And the higher your marks will get. This is the real value of university, and it's what makes you employable. If you're interested, see the writings of a chap called Leon Festinger. You may have heard about learning styles, and despite what you may have heard, fixed learning styles do not exist. You can prefer one way of learning at one time and another at some other time. You may prefer one way of learning for one type of materials and a different one for another. The exception is the serialist holist learning. Serialists like the detail first, and then they piece the picture together. Holists need to have an overview before they understand the detail, but most people are a mixture of both. Now you need to decide where you fit into this spectrum for each situation you come across. This may seem unlikely, but you can learn to be intelligent. James Flynn was a researcher in the field of intelligence. In 1987, he ran the same IQ test that had been used in 1954 in 14 different countries. That's a generation apart. He found that the average IQs had increased dramatically. If in 1954 those tested were normal, then those in 1987 were geniuses. So what caused this? Well, people have speculated that education had improved a lot over that time, and it was the improved education that led to the rise. The better your education, the more intelligent you become. Other researchers found that as the level of education went up, so did the average IQ scores. Few would be surprised that people with higher qualifications have higher IQs. However, it's been argued that it's actually the other way around. Education gives you more skills and therefore makes problem solving easier. The more problems you solve, the higher your IQ. You can learn to be more intelligent, especially at university. Let me tell you a story. In 1995, MacArthur Wheeler robbed 2 banks in Pittsburgh in broad daylight and in front of CCTV without any attempt to hide his face. But he was still surprised to see the police waiting for him when he got home, because, as he said, he'd worn the juice. He thought that lemon juice could be used to hide from CCTV, because you can use it as invisible ink, and therefore it would make him invisible on CCTV. This story is true, and you can look it up. But how does this amusing tale help you? Justin Kruger and David Dunning explain this as an extreme example of what happens when you hand in coursework. Those who do less work see the subject as smaller than it is. They therefore think they'll get a higher grade, and often fail because of that. On the other hand, Those who do more work see the subject as bigger than it really is, so they underestimate their grade. They do really well. Our studies of grades show the tipping point as being about 65%. So beware that you do much more than you need to pass. Does your mind ever wander when you're being taught? Have you been told off for not paying attention? What you see and hear goes into short-term memory, which is small. You have to switch off when that's full and process what you've seen or heard into long-term memory. This takes a while, so your mind shuts down for a bit. That's perfectly normal. You have no control over your short-term memory filling up, but you do have control over how you handle it. Letting your mind wander is okay. Having fun with your next-door neighbour is not. Your neighbour and all the others around you have paid for their bar of chocolate and don't need you to take it away from them. It's up to you to fill in the bits your mind has missed and be mindful of the needs of others around you. This is university and not school. Lev Vygotsky put forward the idea that it's easier to understand something new that's close to something that you already understand. For example, what's the point in learning about algebra when you've not got the hang of arithmetic? Imagine that the solid circle is what you understand. Then the dotted circle is in the zone that you can add easily. Then, according to Vygotsky, anything outside the dotted circle is not understandable. But this is not how the mind works. As you improve your algebra skills, your arithmetic skills improve too, just more slowly. This is what's happening when you don't understand something. Fortunately, the solution is quite simple. Just ignore the fact that you don't understand. Both areas will work towards each other. So it's just a matter of working at it if you find something difficult. It's your level of confidence that matters. Frans Johansson made the obvious claim that the more people work together, the more each improves. He used the Venetian Empire created by the Medici family as an example. Working together, not copying from each other, improves the understanding of all, because you have lots of different strategies to use. The more strategies you have, the more intelligence you have. So work together, but do the write-up by yourself and document your thought process, because that's what shows your understanding. Well, now you know how university works. Go get those grades and make sure you enjoy your time at university. Bye.